My question is, why did they pick you, DL Hughley? And who picked you because you're willing to say what they want you to say? For everybody watching, I'm pretty sure y'all remember the back and forth between DL Hughley and Officer Tatum. So I'm going to play this video with DL Hughley because I got to point something out. Like the hypocrisy is crazy. The level of hypocrisy that DL Hughley is engaging in it's diabolical. Hold on.
You can say whatever you want to say, but this Muslim is putting Christians to shame. He is.
And
I'm not a religious man. This dude watched the World Cup in prison. He went to jail to watch them in prison. He talked about how a couple of 100,000 black people had left New York and he wanted them to come back.
We've lost 200,000 black New Yorkers from New York City over the last few decades alone. The population of black children and teenagers down by 19% from 2010 to 2019. And that is a hollowing out of this city. So many of the most iconic black neighborhoods now seem more iconic for the history than what the future could hold because of that fear of displacement. And to me, when you deliver on that agenda, you also deliver on the promise of black history being something that can continue to be written in the city, not something just that we read about.
Are you saying that your economic agenda is you're hoping that it will address the black flight, what something that some people call a black exodus from this city? Is that what you're saying?
I think that it is a critical part of it.
Right.
And the reason it's a critical part of it is that the absence of that agenda has driven so many out of this city. And we are effectively seeing the reversal of the Great Migration.
Yes.
And it's not for a lack of love for this city. You'll find New Yorkers everywhere across the country. They're still New Yorkers. They'll tell you they're New Yorkers, but they haven't been able to afford New York.
Right.
And even the people you meet in New York City, sometimes when you ask them, where do you live? Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Jersey City. They just can't afford life here.
The thing of the matter is, it isn't who you worship. It's the face. Like in America, we had to create these deities in our image so that we could worship them. Jesus had to look like Tristan from Legends of the Fall, or people couldn't do it.
Legends of the Fall, fucking That's hilarious.
It's pretty good.
And the truth, if you are real, I think that there is more to say for a man that lifts the poor, that feeds the hungry, that employs the people who are unemployable, that walks among the people, than powerful white men who consort with a pedophile.
Yeah.
So he's still running around telling lies. He's still running around telling lies. This is what's crazy to me about this, right? He went on a whole rant about how they picked, this is what he said. He said, quote unquote, they picked Officer Tatum because he's willing to do or say what white folk want him to say. My question is, why did they pick you, DL Hughley? And who picked you because you're willing to say what they want you to say? Because you got to be a damn fool to think that Ma'am Donnie is a good mayor. You got to be one of the dumbest individuals in captivity to think that any policy, anything that dude is doing for New York City is actually smart. Now, here's the interesting thing, because people love to act like everyone on the right is in a cult. They love to act like everyone that is a Trump supporter views Donald Trump as infallible. And it's funny to me how somebody like DL Hughley can just be openly racist. You know, I would rather have somebody who walks amongst the people than some rich, powerful white man. What does him being a white man have to do with anything? Right? So I find it interesting that while everyone believes that all of the people on the right are, you know, in an echo chamber and everybody that's a Trump supporter views Donald Trump as infallible. But over the past couple of years, I've seen people that were Trump supporters stop being Trump supporters because he did something that they didn't agree with, right? I've seen people who followed Candace Owens stop following Candace Owens. I've seen Candace Owens have an issue with stuff that Trump did. I've seen numerous people that are considered MAGA supporters have an issue with numerous people in the Republican Party. I've seen people on the right have issues with Pam Bondi. I've seen people on the right have issues with Patel. I've seen people on the right have issues with numerous Republicans. But you know what I've never seen? I've never seen DL Hughley or anybody that is on the left have an issue with any damn thing that any Democrat anywhere in this country does. Have y'all? Have y'all seen DL Hughley and the rest of these damn bought and paid for celebrities that are progressive and on the left? Have you seen them have an issue with any Democrat whatsoever? So what it looks like to me, in my humble opinion, is that the only group that has critical thinking skills and are willing to hold their group accountable is the right, is the Republicans. Because again, it's every accusation, when it comes to Democrats, every accusation they give is really a confession. Because everything they accuse the right of being is what they are. They're the ones in an echo chamber. They're the ones acting like they're in a cult. They're the ones who refuse to see any fault with anything any Democrat does. It's not the right. You can do stuff to make people on the right stop supporting you. How long have we been calling out Mitch McConnell? How long have we been calling out the Supreme Court justices that are conservatives? How long have we been calling out Kavanaugh and what's the main one that hates Trump? I can't think of his name. But how long have we been calling them out? We literally have a name for it. We call it rhinos. We call it Republicans in name only. What is the Democrat equivalent of a rhino? Roberts, thank you. How long have we been calling out Roberts? But what is the Democrat equivalent of a rhino? There isn't one. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. And the reason why is because Democrats, for the most part, operate in lockstep with each other, like they're in a cult. In fact, the only person that I would say on the Democrat Party that wasn't in lockstep with the Democrats was the recently retired Democrat from West Virginia. What was his name? Y'all, I'm horrible with names. What was my man's name that was that just recently retired? He's from West Virginia. What is his name? Is it Manchin? It's Manchin, isn't it? Just popped in my head. I think it's Manchin. Is it Joe Manchin? Yeah, it's Manchin. Manchin was the only one that wasn't in lockstep with the Democrats. He's the only one. He's the only Democrat that I can think of that wasn't in lockstep with the Democrats, and thank God he wasn't. Thank God he wasn't, because there was a couple of times he basically stopped them. His vote stopped them from doing a whole bunch of good. But you don't see the left and people on the left putting Democrats or the Democrat base. You don't see the Democrat base putting their Democrat leaders under the same scrutiny that you see the Republican base putting their Republican leaders under. You don't see that. You don't see it. You don't see it. You said Bill Maher is the closest thing. Yeah, and that just happened recently. Just recently, you see Bill Maher speaking out. Just recently, you see Stephen A. Smith speaking out. Just recently, you see Fetterman speaking out. Those are the three. You've got Bill Maher, Fetterman, and Stephen A. And sometimes you've got what's my man's name that used to host the Daily Show? What's homie's name that used to host the Daily? Jon Stewart. Every once in a while, Jon Stewart will speak against them, but it's only because Jon Stewart is a logical guy. Every once in a while, he'll hell no, not no Trevor Noah. Jon Stewart, every once in a while will actually speak up and be like, nah, this is goofy. This doesn't make any sense. What are we talking about? What are we doing here? Right? So Jon Stewart, Fetterman, Bill Maher, and Stephen A. Smith. That's four people. You've seen soft shoe. And they haven't completely jumped ship, but you know, when you look at that, that's not even them stepping away from the Democrat Party. That's the Democrat Party going so far left. That's the Democrat Party going so far out on the fringes that they're basically leaving them. Because Stephen A. Smith is still the same guy. So is Bill Maher, so is Jon Stewart, and so is Fetterman. They're still the same guys. The only difference is the Democratic left just keeps moving further and further to the left. Further and further to the left, right? My question is this. You don't see, name the, right now as we speak, there are people on the right that don't agree with a bunch of things that's going on in the Republican Party, like flat out. But when you look at the people, when you look at the DL Hughleys and the Rickey Smileys, see, that's what's hilarious to me, how they act like they try to talk down on Officer Tatum. You know what I'm saying? But what do you call what Rickey Smiley and DL Hughley and the rest of them are doing if it's not tap dancing? What do you call that? What do you call that? See, it's funny for Democrat celebrities to talk about Republican celebrities like they're tap dancing. The Republicans ended slavery. The Democrats were the slave owners. So at the end of the day, how you tap dancing if you're a Republican? If you're a black Republican, how you tap dancing and you're in the party that actually ended slavery? Logic would state that the only way you could possibly be tap dancing is if you're in the party that used to own the slaves. That's what's so funny about this. Like, yo, Officer Tatum ain't tap dancing. No, DL Hughley, you're tap dancing. You're tap dancing. And at this point, we got to wonder, what are you even tap dancing about? And who are you even tap dancing for? Why are you up? Why? So in one breath, you're constantly talking all of this anti-white rhetoric, but you expect us to believe that you're pro-Islam? And just to show you how comfortable he's gotten, he said, yo, this Muslim man is putting Christians to shame. Black people, y'all cool with that? Black people, are y'all cool with that? See, this demon is finally showing his true colors. This demon is finally showing his true colors.